in the land of Canaan, a man named Jacob walked beneath the wide expanse of the heavens, his thoughts heavy with dreams and promises. He was the son of Isaac, the grandson of Abraham, and he carried the weight of generations, a lineage that God had chosen to bless and guide. In Jacob's heart, a mixture of fear, hope, and faith swirled. The patriarch had experienced much. A life marked by rivalry with his twin brother Esau, the cunning acquisition of his father's blessing, and the long years of toil in the households of his uncle Laban. Through it all, God had remained a constant, often in ways Jacob could not immediately understand. It was on one fateful night, under the quiet canopy of stars, that Jacob encountered a presence unlike any he had known. Wrestling with a figure who seemed both human and divine, Jacob's body ached and his determination burned. As dawn approached, the stranger touched Jacob's hip, leaving him wounded but unyielding. Yet in that moment of struggle, Jacob received a new name, Israel, for he had striven with God and with men, and had prevailed. That name would not only define him, but would come to represent the future of his descendants, a people who would carry the covenant, the promise of blessing, and the sacred story of their God into the world. Jacob, now Israel, carried with him the weight of destiny and the knowledge that his children would shape the future of a nation. He returned from the wilderness with a profound awareness that God's hand was guiding not only his path, but the lives of those who would follow in his steps. Each of his sons, born from the love, rivalry, and devotion of his two wives, Leah and Rachel, and their handmaids, would become the roots of a great and enduring people. These 12 sons, each distinct in character and temperament, embodied the hopes, flaws, and promises of their father's lineage. The firstborn, Reuben, was strong and passionate, yet impulsive, often acting before considering consequence. Simeon, fiery and unyielding, carried a spirit of vengeance and intensity that would mark his descendants. Levi, the third, bore within him a fervor that would later manifest as devotion to God, a calling to serve rather than to possess. Judah, the fourth, combined leadership and courage, a visionary whose line would inherit both kingship and honor. Rachel, Jacob's beloved, bore Joseph and Benjamin, whose fates would intertwine with divine providence in extraordinary ways. Joseph, the dreamer, carried visions of destiny within him, while Benjamin, the youngest, remained treasured and protected, a symbol of his mother's enduring hope and Jacob's deep affection. Laban's daughters and handmaids also bore sons who would become tribes, Dan and Naphtali by Bilhah, and Gad and Asher by Zilpah. These children, while born of secondary mothers, were fully embraced within the family covenant, their futures intertwined with the promises given to Abraham and Isaac. From the earliest moments of their lives, the sons of Israel were marked by conflict, rivalry, and favor. Jacob's love for Rachel and her children caused tensions that would ripple through the family, shaping alliances and rivalries among the brothers. Joseph's favored status, symbolized by the coat of many colors, ignited jealousy that would culminate in betrayal, exile, and ultimately redemption, a story that would echo across generations. Yet through all these human complexities, God's purpose wove through the family like an unseen thread. The sons were not only heirs of Jacob's name, but also bearers of a destiny that would shape the land, the people, and the faith of Israel. Each son's character, each choice and action would influence the nature of the tribe that would descend from him. Strength, cunning, devotion, courage, and vision, these traits would define the territories, the customs, and the leadership of the tribes. As Israel aged, he began to reflect upon the futures of his sons. He saw the potential in each one, the promise that they would form the bedrock of a people chosen to reflect God's covenant in the land of Canaan and beyond. In his heart, he prayed not only for their survival and prosperity, but also for the guidance to nurture the gifts and destinies that God had placed within them. It was in this context that the story of the 13 lineages, 12 sons, and the special legacy of Joseph's children would unfold. Each lineage carried a unique role, a place in the tapestry of Israel's future. Levi would be set apart for service. Joseph's sons would inherit double portions, and the rest would receive land that would sustain their families and their cultures for generations to come. Thus, the stage was set. A father, now named Israel, looking toward the horizon of a future filled with promise, challenges, and divine orchestration. The land that would one day be divided among his children awaited, and the story of the tribes, their struggles, triumphs, and sacred duties, was only beginning. The 12 sons of Jacob, each born under circumstances both ordinary and extraordinary, were far more than mere names in a genealogy. They were the living vessels of destiny, each carrying the potential to shape not only the land they would one day inhabit, but also the spiritual and cultural character of Israel. Their lives were intertwined in a complex web of love, rivalry, ambition, and divine providence. A tapestry that would form the foundation of the tribes of Israel. Reuben, the eldest son of Leah, entered the world with a sense of entitlement and expectation that comes with being firstborn. In his youth, he displayed both strength and impulsiveness, a fierce protector, yet one whose passions could cloud judgment. When his younger brothers plotted against Joseph, it was Reuben who intervened to prevent bloodshed, intending to save his brother's life. Though his actions were motivated by conscience, his youthful impulsiveness and later lapses would temper his inheritance among the tribes. In the land of Israel, the descendants of Reuben settled east of the Jordan River, in a territory fertile and rolling, yet shadowed by the restlessness of the firstborn's complex legacy. Simeon, Leah's second son, bore a temperament marked by intensity and zeal. In the early years, he displayed a fierce loyalty to his family, but also a readiness for vengeance. The incident with his sister Dinah revealed Simeon's capacity for violence, a trait that would haunt his descendants. His tribe, though ultimately settled within the southern regions alongside Judah, carried the mark of this fiery spirit. Courageous, yet occasionally fractured, strong in loyalty but prone to isolation. Simeon's story exemplifies the enduring tension between passion and prudence, a duality that would characterize his tribe throughout generations. Levi, the third son of Leah, was unlike his brothers in purpose and destiny. From his earliest years, he demonstrated an intensity of devotion that would later find a sacred expression. The same zeal that drove Simeon often manifested in Levi as a singular focus on principle and righteousness. This would culminate in the Levites' later designation as the priestly tribe, set apart from land ownership and devoted entirely to God's service. While the other sons looked toward inheritance and territory, Levi's calling was spiritual, a commitment to uphold the sacred, to serve in the tabernacle, and to mediate between God and the people. Levi's descendants would live not in a continuous homeland, but in cities dispersed among the territories of the other tribes. 48 such cities, including 6 designated as cities of refuge, became scattered sanctuaries of learning, worship, and law. In this, the tribe of Levi exemplified the principle that spiritual inheritance often transcends material possession, shaping the moral and religious fabric of Israel in profound ways. Judah, Leah's fourth son, embodied leadership and foresight. From his youth, he displayed courage and wisdom that distinguished him among his brothers. Judah's temperament combined strength with judgment, allowing him to emerge as a natural leader in both family matters and later tribal conflicts. It was Judah who stepped forward in the confrontation with Tamar, displaying a sense of justice intertwined with human complexity. The tribe of Judah would inherit a significant portion of the land in southern Canaan, encompassing key cities and fertile valleys. In narrative and symbolic terms, Judah's line would produce leaders, kings, and ultimately, in prophetic tradition, a messianic expectation. His role as both political and spiritual progenitor underscored the centrality of vision, courage, and responsibility in the tribal order. From Rachel's handmaid Bilhah were born Dan and Naphtali, each embodying qualities inherited from both mother and father. Dan was characterized by discernment and strategic insight, often reflecting a subtle and reflective strength that allowed his tribe to navigate complex social and military landscapes. Naphtali, in contrast, bore a spirit of swiftness and eloquence, described in blessings as satisfied with favor and full of blessing, a poetic foreshadowing of his tribe's mobility and adaptability in later generations. Their territories lay in the northern reaches of Canaan, regions marked by hills, forests, and trade routes. Dan eventually migrated northward, seeking new lands and establishing a presence near the Mediterranean coast. Naphtali's people thrived in the fertile valleys, their agility and resourcefulness reflecting the traits of their forefather. Gad and Asher, born to Leah's handmaid Zilpah, embodied vitality and abundance. Gad, with his robust and martial spirit, became a warrior lineage, strong in defense and loyalty to Israel's collective mission. Asher, blessed with prosperity and richness, gave rise to a tribe celebrated for abundance, agriculture, and the blessings of the land. Their inherited territories on the eastern plains and the western coastal regions mirrored the character of their forebears: strength, provision, and resilience. Issachar and Zebulun, born to Leah in her later years, brought unique contributions to Israel's emerging national identity. Issachar, thoughtful and contemplative, became known for his understanding of the times and wisdom in counsel. His descendants were agriculturists, laborers, and sages, thriving in the Jezreel Valley and contributing to the economic stability of Israel. Zebulun, by contrast, became associated with trade, maritime ventures, and openness to the wider world. Settled near the northern seas, Zebulun's tribe fostered connections that extended Israel's influence beyond its borders. Benjamin, Rachel's second son and Israel's youngest, was cherished from birth. His early life was marked by the loss of his mother, imbuing him and his family with deep emotion and protective instincts. Despite his youth, Benjamin displayed courage and resilience, traits that would define his tribe in later generations. His territory, situated between Judah and Ephraim, placed his descendants at a strategic and symbolic crossroads of Israel, bridging the southern and central regions. Joseph's story occupies a unique place among Jacob's sons. Favored by his father, gifted with dreams of destiny, and betrayed by his brothers, Joseph's journey to Egypt transformed him from a vulnerable youth into a figure of providential authority. His rise to power, managing famine and national survival, exemplified the interplay of human action and divine guidance. In Egypt, Joseph fathered two sons, Ephraim and Manasseh, who would later inherit the blessing of their grandfather, Israel. By adopting them as his own, Jacob ensured that Joseph's lineage would hold a special place in the tribal structure. This act granted Joseph a double portion of inheritance and effectively created two separate tribes where there would otherwise have been one, balancing the exclusion of Levi from land possession and preserving the sacred structure of 12 tribal territories. As Jacob grew older, his body weakened with age, yet his mind remained sharp, and his spirit deeply attuned to the currents of fate and divine purpose. He knew his days were drawing near, and he called his sons to his side, summoning them into his tent beneath the fading light of the evening. One by one they gathered, a mixture of anticipation, respect, and unease marking their faces. For this was no ordinary moment. The patriarch of Israel, the father whose name had been changed by God after wrestling with the divine, was about to pronounce blessings that would echo across generations. Jacob, sensing the weight of history and the whisper of God's hand upon his life, began with solemn words. "Gather close, my sons," he said, his voice both frail and commanding, "and hear the words of your father, for these are not mere wishes, but prophecies of your lives, your tribes, and the destiny of Israel." Jacob's gaze first fell upon Reuben, the firstborn. "Reuben," he said, "my firstborn, my strength, my might, and the beginning of my vigor, unstable as water, you shall not excel, because you went up to your father's bed in weakness." Even as Jacob spoke, the truth of Reuben's impulsive nature was evident. The firstborn, though strong and capable, had faltered in both judgment and restraint. Jacob's words, tender yet prophetic, foretold that Reuben's tribe would not dominate or inherit preeminence among Israel, despite his birthright. Yet within the caution lay a recognition of vitality and potential, a restless energy that would define Reuben's descendants as brave, adaptable, and fierce in battle, though limited in political prominence. Leaning close, Jacob addressed Simeon and Levi together. Simeon and Levi, instruments of violence, brothers whose anger burns hotter than fire, your swords are weapons of wrath. I will scatter you in Israel, dispersing your power across the land. These words echoed with both warning and destiny. Simeon and Levi, united in spirit yet divergent in their ultimate paths, embodied zeal that could both defend and destroy. Simeon's descendants, marked by intensity, would be absorbed within the territory of Judah, while Levi's tribe would transcend territorial possession entirely. The Levites were destined for sacred service, scattered across Canaan to minister in cities of learning, worship, and justice, fulfilling a divine calling that would distinguish them from the other tribes. When Jacob's eyes fell on Judah, they gleamed with approval. "Judah, your brothers shall praise you. Your hand shall be on the neck of your enemies. Your father's sons shall bow before you. The scepter shall not depart from Judah until Shiloh comes, to whom tribute belongs." Here was the promise of leadership, courage, and legacy. Judah's line would rise to prominence, producing kings and rulers, and ultimately a lineage associated with the hope of a future redeemer. Jacob's words painted Judah as a lion among his brothers, strong, authoritative, and destined for central influence in both governance and spiritual guidance. Jacob turned to the sons of Bilhah and Zilpah, his wives' handmaids, whose births were gifts of both love and circumstance. Dan shall judge his people as a serpent by the roadside, cunning and strategic. Naphtali is a swift deer, full of grace and eloquence. Gad will be a warrior, triumphing in battle, while Asher's bread shall be rich, his produce abundant. In these words, Jacob acknowledged the gifts and roles of these sons, whose lineages would thrive in agility, abundance, and martial prowess. The handmaid's children, though born of secondary status, were equally woven into the destiny of Israel, their tribes contributing to defense, sustenance, and strategic advantage within the land. Issachar, contemplative and wise, received a blessing of toil and insight. Issachar is a strong donkey, lying down between the sheepfolds. He sees the fruitful land and bends under the burden, yet he prospers by diligence and understanding. Zebulun, a partner to Issachar in both enterprise and settlement, was blessed with openness to trade and expansion. Zebulun shall dwell by the seashore, becoming a haven for merchants and travelers, his influence extending across distant lands. Through these blessings, Jacob highlighted the complementary nature of these tribes. labor and commerce, thought and action, sustaining the nation's prosperity and enabling its strategic growth. To Benjamin, the youngest, Jacob spoke with both tenderness and foresight. Benjamin is a ravenous wolf. In the morning he devours the prey, and at night he divides the spoil. Benjamin's tribe would be fierce and formidable, its members known for courage, loyalty, and martial skill. Positioned between Judah and Ephraim, Benjamin's descendants would hold a critical place geographically and symbolically, bridging regions and ensuring the cohesion of Israel's emerging nation. Finally, Jacob turned to Joseph, whose life had already been marked by betrayal, exile, and triumph. Joseph is a fruitful bough by a well, his branches run over the wall. The archers shall sorely grieve him, yet his strength and blessing shall endure. Jacob foresaw Joseph's dual legacy, the hardships he had endured and the providential elevation that awaited him and his descendants. Importantly, Jacob adopted Joseph's two sons, Ephraim and Manasseh, granting them a blessing equivalent to that of sons of Jacob himself. By doing so, Joseph's line would inherit two tribal portions, effectively splitting his inheritance and securing a double share for the future. Jacob's hand, once frail with age, rested upon Ephraim and Manasseh. His voice carried a weight of authority and love. The younger shall be greater than the elder, and his descendants shall become a multitude of nations. Thus, the blessings were not mere words, they were prophetic visions of how each son's character, temperament, and destiny would shape the land, the people, and the unfolding story of Israel. They foreshadowed the eventual allotments, the roles of the Levites, the double inheritance of Joseph's sons, and the symbolic unity of the 12 tribal territories. Jacob's final words were both intimate and universal. He spoke not only as a father to sons, but as a patriarch of a nation. Through his blessings, he codified the spiritual, political, and practical future of each lineage. The prophecy of the tribes encapsulated divine intent, familial destiny, and human character in a single narrative. The interplay of strengths, weaknesses, zeal, wisdom, courage, and foresight would ripple across generations. The Levites' sacred role, Joseph's double portion, Judah's leadership, and Benjamin's ferocity all emerged from these prophetic pronouncements. In essence, the blessings were a blueprint for the future. 13 lineages, 12 tribal territories, and a unified people bound by covenant, character, and divine purpose. Among the sons of Israel, Levi stood apart from birth, not in birthright, not in inheritance, but in destiny. The third son of Leah, he bore a fervor that neither mother nor father could fully temper, a zeal that would later become both his tribe's defining strength and its unique burden. Unlike his brothers, whose lives and legacies were intertwined with land, conquest, and family power, Levi's purpose was spiritual, sacred, and profoundly connected to the covenant between God and Israel. From the earliest days, Levi displayed an intensity of character that foreshadowed the tribe's later role. He acted decisively, sometimes impulsively, often guided by principle rather than pragmatism. This nature manifested dramatically during the incident with Dinah, his sister, when he and Simeon responded with fierce retribution against the Shechemites. While Simeon's zeal dissipated over time within the framework of the southern tribal territories, Levi's fire was consecrated into purpose. In later years, God would transform the potential for vengeance into a calling for service, devotion, and guardianship over the spiritual life of the nation. Unlike Reuben or Judah, Levi would inherit no land in the Promised Land. While his brothers' names were etched into territorial boundaries, hills, and valleys, Levi's inheritance was divine. God declared that the tribe of Levi would serve as the mediators between the people and the sacred, devoted entirely to priesthood, the teaching of law, and the maintenance of the tabernacle. and later, the temple. Their sustenance would come not from fertile fields or grazing lands, but from the tithes, offerings, and devotion of their fellow Israelites. The Levites' role extended far beyond mere ritual. They were the custodians of the covenant, entrusted with the instruction of the people, the oversight of sacred objects, and the preservation of holiness within Israelite life. They were teachers, judges, and spiritual leaders. They carried the sacred responsibilities that ensured the tribes could remain aligned with the law of God, offering guidance, interpretation, and intercession. Their cities, 48 in total, were strategically distributed among all the tribes, allowing their influence to permeate the entirety of Israel. 6 of these cities were designated as cities of refuge, sanctuaries for those who had committed unintentional manslaughter, reflecting the Levites' role as guardians of justice, mercy, and spiritual balance. Within these cities, the Levites were provided pasture lands and means to live, yet their true inheritance was the service they rendered. Their life was one of constant dedication, a rhythm of teaching, offering, guiding, and mediating. From the youngest Levite to the eldest, generations trained for sacred duty, learning the meticulous laws, rituals, and artistry required to maintain the tabernacle, and later, the temple. Their lives were intertwined with every tribe, yet they belonged to none in terms of territorial claim, a living reminder that service to God transcends ownership of land. The significance of Levi extended beyond mere practicality. Spiritually, they embodied the principle that some members of a community are chosen for dedication to higher purposes, a bridge between the human and the divine. Their dispersed presence throughout Canaan ensured that the sacred never remained isolated, but was woven into the daily life of every tribe. Wherever a Levite settled, instruction, worship, and sacred law were present, forming an invisible network of spiritual guardianship across the land. The Levites also had subgroups within their tribe, particularly the descendants of Aaron, who served as the priests proper, offering sacrifices and leading worship. The other Levites functioned as assistants, musicians, gatekeepers, and teachers. Together, these roles ensured that Israel's spiritual life thrived, sustaining the covenant that God had established with Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Their separation from ordinary landholding reinforced a truth central to Israel's identity, that spiritual inheritance can hold as much, if not more, value than material possession, and that divine favor manifests in both visible and unseen ways. Despite lacking a contiguous homeland, Levi's influence was immense. They shaped the religious, ethical, and moral compass of Israel, guiding kings and leaders, instructing the young, and mediating disputes. Their cities became centers of learning, worship, and refuge, scattered across the land like beacons of continuity and sanctity. This dispersed presence also ensured that all tribes remained connected to the sacred, preventing any region from turning wholly secular or unfaithful to God. The tribe of Levi also played a critical role in maintaining national unity. By not being tied to a single territory, the Levites could move with authority and impartiality, teaching the law and guiding the people wherever they dwelt. They became the living embodiment of the covenant's centrality, reminding Israel that the true inheritance is not only land or power, but fidelity to God's commands. In the broader narrative of Israel, the Levites' example stood as a reminder that leadership and blessing take many forms. While Reuben, Judah, and Joseph's descendants would wield power through land, influence, and legacy, Levi's inheritance lay in obedience, devotion, and sanctified service. The Levites were both distinct and essential, an enduring spiritual backbone without which the nation could not endure. Thus, the story of Levi illuminates a central theme in Israelite identity: that God's plan accommodates both those called to worldly inheritance and those consecrated to spiritual purpose. The Levites' devotion balanced the territorial ambitions of the other tribes. Their presence ensured justice, worship, and instruction permeated every corner of the land, and their lineage carried the sacred torch through generations. In this way, Levi's tribe became the heartbeat of Israel's spiritual life, scattered yet unifying, landless yet essential, dedicated not to territory but to the enduring covenant. From the fervent zeal of the young son to the wisdom of the elders guiding generations of priests and teachers, Levi's descendants exemplified the profound truth that the measure of a tribe is not only in its holdings or power, but in its devotion, purpose, and service to the divine. Among the sons of Israel, Joseph held a story unlike any other. From his earliest days, he was set apart, favored by his father, gifted with dreams that spoke of destiny, and marked by circumstances that would both test and elevate him. His life was a tapestry of triumphs and trials, betrayal and providence, all leading toward a future far beyond the expectations of a mere son in a family of 12. Joseph's journey began in Canaan, a land of rolling hills and sun-baked valleys, where he tended flocks alongside his brothers. His coat of many colors, a gift from Jacob, marked him as beloved yet different, a visible symbol of his father's favor. This distinction, however, bred envy and resentment. The brothers, blinded by jealousy, plotted against him, selling him into slavery in Egypt, a land of power, mystery, and opportunity. Yet Joseph's life in Egypt was guided by a hand unseen. From the house of Potiphar to the dungeon of imprisonment, each trial forged his character and prepared him for leadership. His wisdom, integrity, and gift for interpreting dreams brought him to the attention of Pharaoh, who elevated him to a position of unparalleled authority, second only to the king himself. In this role, Joseph governed a nation during years of famine, storing grain and providing sustenance not only for Egypt, but eventually for his own family, who journeyed south to seek relief. It was during this period of reconciliation and reunion that the seeds of Joseph's tribal legacy were planted. In a moment of profound significance, Jacob, now Israel, called his sons and placed his hands upon Joseph's children, Ephraim and Manasseh. Though they were born in Egypt, they were formally adopted as Jacob's own, elevating them to the status of sons equal to Reuben, Simeon, Judah, and the others. Jacob's blessing of the boys was deliberate and symbolic. He placed his right hand on Ephraim, the younger, and his left on Manasseh, the elder, crossing customary expectations of primogeniture. This gesture was not merely affectionate, it signified the prominence that Ephraim would hold among Joseph's descendants and foreshadowed the future influence of his tribe in Israel's central and northern regions. By adopting both sons, Jacob effectively granted Joseph a double inheritance, creating two full tribal lineages in place of one. The blessing carried more than material promise. It conferred identity, legacy, and destiny. Ephraim and Manasseh were no longer simply Joseph's sons. They were distinct tribal heads, each with territory, responsibilities, and a place in the covenantal structure of Israel. In doing so, the narrative resolved a potential imbalance. Levi, set apart for service and excluded from landholding, would leave one slot open among the tribes. Joseph's line, divided between Ephraim and Manasseh, filled this void, ensuring that Israel's land could be apportioned among 12 tribes, preserving the sacred symmetry that the number 12 symbolized. The territories granted to Joseph's sons reflected both promise and strategic planning. Ephraim, favored in blessing, received fertile lands in central Canaan, encompassing plains and hills that would later become cultural and spiritual centers for the northern tribes. Manasseh, in a unique arrangement, was granted land on both sides of the Jordan River, a presence that bridged east and west and symbolized both strength and expansion. Together, these territories ensured that Joseph's lineage would wield influence, sustain prosperity, and participate fully in Israel's destiny, even as Levi's tribe remained spiritual rather than territorial. Joseph's legacy extended beyond land and title. His story embodied the themes of providence, reconciliation, and divine orchestration. The betrayal by his brothers, the journey into exile, the trials of imprisonment, and the rise to power all demonstrated that God's purposes often unfold through human complexity. Ephraim and Manasseh, as extensions of Joseph's legacy, carried forward not only his inheritance but also the lessons of faith, resilience, and obedience that had defined his life. The narrative of Joseph and his sons also established a pattern of balance and intentionality within Israel. By granting a double portion through Joseph, Jacob ensured that each son's character and divine purpose found expression in the tribal structure. Ephraim, with his prominence, would later play a leading role in northern Israel. Manasseh, with its broad and strategically positioned lands, would provide strength and stability. Together, they maintained the integrity of the 12-tribe system, reconciling familial, spiritual, and territorial considerations in a single, cohesive design. Through Joseph's experience, the tribes of Israel illustrate a profound principle. Inheritance is more than physical possession. It encompasses blessing, character, and divine purpose. While Levi's tribe was set apart for spiritual service and granted no land, Joseph's sons exemplified how human agency and divine blessing converged to shape both legacy and destiny. Their story reminds all who reflect on Israel's history that God's plan can transform hardship into honor, exile into leadership, and a single family into a nation whose 12 lands are united by covenant, faith, and the vision of one patriarch who wrestled with destiny and prevailed. Thus, with the adoption of Ephraim and Manasseh, Israel's family became 13 lineages, yet the land was divided among 12 tribes. Levi served God, Joseph's sons took their double portion, and the pattern of balance, order, and divine purpose was established. A framework that would endure for generations, shaping both history and faith. After the long journey from Egypt, across deserts and wilderness, the children of Israel arrived at the edge of the promised land. The air was thick with anticipation. Generations of longing had brought them to the threshold of Canaan, a land flowing with promise, yet filled with challenges and unknowns. Moses and Joshua, leaders forged through hardship and divine guidance, were tasked with one of the most critical duties in Israelite history, dividing the land among the tribes. This was no simple administrative act. It was a delicate balance of inheritance, destiny, and the fulfillment of promises made centuries earlier to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. From the start, the division reflected both human reality and divine design. 13 lineages descended from Jacob, yet only 12 territories would be apportioned. Levi, devoted entirely to service and priesthood, would receive no contiguous land. Instead, the Levites were allocated 48 cities scattered among the other tribal lands, ensuring that sacred guidance and instruction would be accessible to all Israelites. These cities became centers of worship, law, and learning, and 6 of them, cities of refuge, offered sanctuary for those seeking justice and mercy. The Levites' inheritance, though non-territorial, was profound. Their influence touched every corner of Israel, ensuring that spiritual life permeated the land. Joseph's inheritance, in contrast, was doubled. Through the adoption of his sons, Ephraim and Manasseh, Joseph's line was represented by 2 tribes, each receiving distinct portions of land. Ephraim, the younger yet blessed with prominence, was granted fertile central plains, rolling hills, and valleys that would become the heartland of northern Israel. its territory was rich, offering resources, trade routes, and strategic advantage. Manasseh, uniquely positioned, received lands on both sides of the Jordan River, a western portion contiguous with Ephraim and an eastern portion across the river. This placement allowed the tribe to serve as a bridge between the eastern and western territories, providing both security and access to resources. The 12 land-holding tribes were thus carefully arranged, each reflecting the character of its patriarch. Reuben, the eldest, received territory east of the Jordan, a fertile yet somewhat isolated region that mirrored the restless strength of his lineage. Simeon's allotment lay within Judah's southern domain, a compact area reflecting the tribe's absorption into Judah's broader influence. Judah itself claimed a vast southern territory, including valleys, hills, and deserts that would later become the center of Israel's monarchy and spiritual life. Issachar and Zebulun occupied central northern plains, their territories reflecting complementary roles. Issachar as agriculturists and laborers, Zebulun as traders and seafarers. Dan initially received territory in the western lowlands, but later migrations moved his descendants to the northern coastal areas, illustrating both the tribe's adaptability and the practical challenges of settlement. Naphtali, in the northern hills, prospered in fertile valleys and trade routes, while Gad and Asher claimed eastern and western regions rich in resources and strategic position. Benjamin, positioned between Judah and Ephraim, occupied a crucial corridor linking north and south, symbolically and geographically. The division of the land was more than a practical measure. It was deeply symbolic. 12 portions for 12 tribes, excluding Levi, embodied order, completeness, and divine intentionality. The number 12 carried weight throughout Israelite culture, representing wholeness and covenantal integrity. By splitting Joseph's inheritance between Ephraim and Manasseh, the balance was preserved. 13 lineages, 12 territories, and 1 sacred design. The process of allocation was meticulous. Leaders of each tribe surveyed the land, considering fertility, water sources, natural boundaries, and historical significance. Rivers, hills, valleys, and forests were taken into account, ensuring each tribe had resources to thrive while maintaining equity across the nation. Cities, towns, and villages were distributed with care, and boundaries were marked to prevent future disputes. Yet the narrative of these divisions also reflected human character. Blessings, prophecies, and the personalities of the patriarchs influenced where tribes would settle, how they would interact, and what challenges they would face. Levi's cities, scattered among these tribal lands, became a unifying presence. Wherever a Levite resided, the covenant was reinforced, laws were taught, and worship was maintained. Farmers, merchants, and warriors of neighboring tribes were constantly reminded that spiritual life was inseparable from daily life, and that the Levites' presence ensured accountability and continuity of God's commands. In this way, Levi's non-territorial inheritance enhanced the cohesiveness and stability of the nation, balancing the material possessions of the other tribes with spiritual stewardship. The divisions also reinforced the significance of Joseph's double portion. By granting land to both Ephraim and Manasseh, Israel ensured that Joseph's descendants would be fully integrated into the nation's political, economic, and spiritual framework. Ephraim became a leading tribe in the north, often associated with authority, while Manasseh's presence on both sides of the Jordan provided both security and opportunity. This arrangement allowed the 12-tribe system to function without disruption, despite the presence of 13 lineages, exemplifying foresight and divine orchestration. Settling into the land, the tribes faced both opportunity and challenge. Fertile plains promised abundance, but borders required defense. Rivers provided water, but crossings demanded vigilance. Yet as each tribe claimed its inheritance, the narrative of Israel became tangible, a living nation rooted in the promise given to Abraham, nurtured by Isaac and Jacob, and sustained by the balance of land, service, and divine blessing. Thus, the land divisions of Israel reflect a delicate harmony between human character and divine design. Each tribe, whether blessed with strength, wisdom, courage, or spiritual calling, received a place in the nation that honored its lineage, fulfilled prophecy, and maintained unity. Levi's scattered cities, Joseph's double portion, and the careful placement of all other tribes created a framework that would guide Israel through conquest, settlement, and generations to come. In this land, the vision of Jacob, now Israel, came alive. His sons and their descendants, bound by family, faith, and covenant, took root in Canaan. Mountains, valleys, rivers, and plains became more than geography. They became the stage upon which the story of a nation would unfold. The division of the land was both practical and sacred, ensuring that Israel would thrive materially, spiritually, and culturally, united as 12 tribes with 13 lineages, guided by the hand of God and the wisdom of their patriarch. Once the land of Canaan had been apportioned, the tribes of Israel began to transform it into more than mere territory. It became home, livelihood, and the stage upon which their culture, faith, and identity would flourish. Each tribe bore the imprint of its patriarch, carrying forward not only inherited blessing, but also personality, temperament, and destiny. The physical landscape, rivers, hills, plains, and deserts shaped their daily lives, while the spiritual inheritance of Levi ensured that law, worship, and covenantal instruction permeated every corner of the nation. Reuben's descendants, the firstborn tribe, settled east of the Jordan River. Their territory, fertile yet isolated, was rich in grazing lands, hills, and rivers. Reuben's restless energy and strength found expression in pastoral life, herding cattle and maintaining a lifestyle shaped by mobility and vigilance. The people of Reuben became known for their resilience and adaptability. Though they lacked political preeminence, they contributed stability to the eastern settlements, balancing independence with cooperation among neighboring tribes. Simeon, whose territory lay within Judah's southern lands, adapted to life in close proximity to a dominant tribe. Their compact land, though limited, fostered a tight-knit community. The descendants of Simeon were industrious and courageous, often participating in defense alongside Judah. Over time, Simeon's identity intertwined with Judah's, demonstrating how tribal boundaries could shape alliances, loyalty, and the integration of smaller tribes into the broader national fabric. The tribe of Judah, occupying the southern heartlands, became a center of political and spiritual influence. Their territory spanned valleys, hills, and desert edges, allowing for agriculture, trade, and strategic defense. Judah's people were leaders by temperament, echoing their patriarchs' courage and vision. Cities such as Hebron and later Jerusalem became symbols of authority and worship. Judah's legacy as the tribe of kingship began to emerge, intertwining governance, cultural influence, and religious significance. Issachar's territory in the fertile Jezreel Valley nurtured a people devoted to farming and labor. Known for their diligence and understanding of the land, Issachar's descendants cultivated grains, olive groves, and vineyards, sustaining not only themselves but also supplying neighboring tribes. Zebulun, on the northern borders near the coast, complemented Issachar's labor with trade and commerce. Their access to trade routes and maritime resources allowed Zebulun to prosper economically, fostering cultural exchange and expanding Israel's influence. Together, the two tribes exemplified the balance of labor and commerce, agriculture and enterprise, essential for the nation's prosperity. Dan's descendants initially settled in the western lowlands, a region challenging in terrain and climate. Over time, they migrated northward, establishing new settlements along the Mediterranean coast. This movement highlighted Dan's adaptability and resourcefulness, traits inherited from their patriarchs' strategic and discerning character. The tribe's mobility allowed them to respond to changing circumstances, secure new territories, and maintain relevance in a dynamic and often contested landscape. Naphtali's people, settled in northern valleys and highlands, thrived in regions favorable for both farming and communication. Known for agility, swiftness, and eloquence, Naphtali's descendants excelled in trade, diplomacy, and the exchange of information. Their territory connected central and northern tribes, making them natural mediators and messengers. Naphtali's traits, foretold in Jacob's blessing, became a hallmark of the tribe: quick, insightful, and attuned to opportunity. Gad's territory, east of the Jordan, reflected his warrior heritage. The people of Gad were strong and loyal, often providing defense for the eastern frontier and supporting the nation's collective security. Asher, blessed with abundance, settled along the coastal plains and fertile valleys, producing crops, olive oil, and other goods in richness that mirrored his patriarch's blessing. Together, these tribes exemplified the balance of martial skill and provision, sustaining both Israel's security and prosperity. Benjamin's territory, strategically positioned between Judah and Ephraim, allowed the tribe to influence both northern and southern regions. Benjamin's descendants inherited courage and resilience, traits celebrated in later battles and political leadership. Their central location fostered connections with multiple tribes, giving Benjamin a unique role in bridging diverse regions and ensuring national cohesion. Ephraim, settled in central Canaan, became a cultural and spiritual hub in the north. The people of Ephraim were often leaders among the northern tribes, reflecting their patriarch Joseph's wisdom and prominence. Manasseh, with territory on both sides of the Jordan, provided strategic breadth, bridging eastern and western regions. Together, the two tribes of Joseph ensured that his double portion reinforced national unity, stability, and prosperity, balancing Levi's landless yet sacred presence. Though they held no continuous territory, Levi's presence was woven throughout Israel. Scattered across cities embedded in every tribal territory, the Levites ensured that spiritual guidance, teaching, and worship were accessible to all. They were educators, priests, and caretakers of justice, shaping the moral and religious framework of the nation. Their dispersed presence reinforced a fundamental principle: the inheritance of faith and service can be as significant, if not more so, than possession of land. Life in Israel was therefore a mosaic of varied experiences, geography, and character. Each tribe developed customs, professions, and cultural expressions, reflecting both their patriarch's personality and their inherited territory. Neighboring tribes interacted in trade, defense, and marriage, while the Levites maintained spiritual cohesion. Together, these 13 lineages created a nation of 12 territorial tribes, balancing inheritance, service, and destiny. The land divisions, while practical, became the stage for centuries of growth, conflict, and culture. Valleys echoed with harvests, plains hummed with commerce, and cities became centers of law, learning, and governance. Yet underlying all of this was the covenant with God, a guiding force that bound these tribes together, directing their fortunes and ensuring their collective identity as Israel. The story of the tribes of Israel is more than a narrative of land, family, and lineage. It is a tapestry of spiritual symbolism and theological purpose, woven with deliberate intent by God and interpreted through the experiences of the patriarchs and the nation. From Jacob's adoption of Joseph's sons to the unique role of Levi, every detail of tribal structure reflects lessons about divine order, human responsibility, and the sacred interplay between family, faith, and territory. At first glance, the presence of 13 lineages, Jacob's 12 sons plus Joseph's 2 sons, might appear to contradict the symbolic significance of 12, a number recurrent in biblical tradition, representing completeness, order, and covenantal wholeness. Yet the system was carefully designed to reconcile this apparent discrepancy. Levi, consecrated to God, did not receive a territorial inheritance. Their role as priests and spiritual leaders removed them from the land allocation, creating one space in the 12-tribe structure. Joseph's inheritance, through the adoption of Ephraim and Manasseh, was split to occupy 2 tribal positions. This arrangement restored balance, 13 lineages, yet 12 territories, preserving the symbolic integrity of the number 12 while accommodating divine and familial considerations. Theologically, this design demonstrates a profound truth. Human society and divine purpose are often intertwined, but not always aligned with material possession. Levi's landlessness emphasizes that spiritual inheritance, service to God, guidance, and instruction is as vital as territorial control. Joseph's double portion underscores providence, blessing, and the principle that destiny can transcend conventional expectations. Levi's role is central to understanding the theological dimension of the tribal system. Unlike other tribes, whose influence was expressed through territory, military strength, or economic contribution, Levi's influence was spiritual and relational. The Levites acted as intermediaries between God and the people, maintaining the sanctity of worship, interpreting the law, and instructing the nation. Their scattered cities were both practical and symbolic. Practically, they allowed every tribe access to religious guidance, education, and sanctuary. Symbolically, they reminded the Israelites that spiritual authority is not localized or restricted. It transcends boundaries, pervading all aspects of national life. Through Levi, Israel was constantly reminded that obedience, devotion, and faith are as critical to inheritance as land, wealth, or power. The adoption of Ephraim and Manasseh by Jacob exemplifies divine providence and continuity. By elevating Joseph's sons to full tribal status, Jacob ensured that the line of his favored son would hold influence across the land, balancing Levi's spiritual service with material inheritance. Ephraim, often recognized as the leading tribe in the north, and Manasseh, strategically positioned on both sides of the Jordan, became pillars of the nation. Their story carries theological significance as well. Joseph, once a betrayed son exiled to a foreign land, became a savior of nations through his wisdom and God-given insight. His descendants inherited both the blessing and responsibility of leadership. In this, the tribal system reflects the principle that God's favor may manifest through unexpected paths, and that human circumstances, even adversity, can be instruments of divine plan. The distribution of land was not merely practical, but deeply symbolic. Each territory reflected the character and blessing of its patriarch. Judah's expansiveness mirrored leadership and authority. Issachar's fertile valley represented labor, diligence, and understanding of seasons. Naphtali's northern hills symbolized agility, eloquence, and strategic advantage. Gad's eastern plains highlighted defense and martial skill, while Asher's abundant land mirrored prosperity and blessing. The land itself became a living teaching. Rivers, hills, plains, and cities were both practical resources and symbolic reminders of covenant, providence, and the moral responsibilities of the tribes. The Israelites were called to live in harmony with the land, to cultivate, protect, and honor it, reflecting the broader principle that human stewardship is inseparable from divine covenant. The tribal system reflects a profound principle of balance between individuality and unity. Each tribe carried unique characteristics, roles, and responsibilities. Some were warriors, others farmers, traders, or spiritual leaders. Some, like Levi, were landless yet essential. Others, like Ephraim, were prominent in both territory and leadership. Yet together, they formed a cohesive nation, bound by shared history, covenant, and purpose. This balance between diversity and unity is one of the enduring lessons of the tribal system. It shows that collective identity does not erase individuality. Rather, it integrates it into a larger framework of responsibility, purpose, and divine plan. The tribes of Israel, while distinct in inheritance, character, and destiny, were bound together by covenant, law, and faith, a unity that would sustain them through conquest, settlement, monarchy, and exile. The deliberate design of 12 territorial tribes underscores theological concepts central to Israelite identity. 12 represents divine completeness and order, a reflection of God's providence in structuring human society. 13 lineages, reconciled through Levi's landlessness and Joseph's double portion, show that divine wisdom often works through complexity, balance, and intentional structure. The system also emphasizes stewardship. Land was not simply possession, it was responsibility. Each tribe's inheritance carried with it duties, cultivation, protection, and alignment with God's law. Levi's spiritual inheritance reminds all Israelites that service and devotion are equally sacred, forming the moral and religious backbone of the nation. Through this symbolic structure, Israel became more than a collection of families and lands. It became a living covenant, a society in which human character, divine purpose, and sacred law intersected. The tribes, each with its identity and inheritance, collectively embodied the principle that God's design encompasses both material and spiritual dimensions, balance and differentiation, individuality and unity. The tribes of Israel, born from Jacob's 12 sons and the double portion of Joseph's lineage, were far more than landholders. They were the living embodiment of a covenant, a narrative, and a people destined to carry God's promise through time. Their legacy extends beyond the initial conquest of Canaan, influencing Israel's monarchy, culture, religious life, and even its spiritual imagination for centuries. From the moment the Israelites entered Canaan, each tribe took its place in the national tapestry. Their inherited lands shaped settlement patterns, economic activity, and regional influence. Judah's southern expanse became a center of leadership and kingship, ultimately producing the line of David, which would dominate Israel's political and spiritual imagination. Ephraim emerged as a northern stronghold, often leading the other northern tribes in administration, defense, and worship. Levi's dispersed priesthood ensured spiritual continuity. Unlike other tribes which wielded power through territory or military might, Levi influenced the nation through teaching, law, and worship. Levites became teachers of Torah, judges in disputes, and custodians of sacred rituals, their presence knitting the 12 land-holding tribes together through faith and covenantal adherence. Even smaller or less prominent tribes, like Simeon, found significance within this structure. Absorbed into Judah's territory, Simeon's descendants participated in collective defense and shared culture, illustrating that each tribe, regardless of size or prominence, contributed to the larger fabric of Israel. The tribal structure was not only symbolic, but also practical. Israel's governance, especially before the establishment of monarchy, relied heavily on tribal organization. Tribal leaders acted as judges, military commanders, and regional representatives, ensuring that justice, law, and defense were localized yet coordinated. Each tribe maintained its own militia, agricultural system, and internal administration, allowing the nation to function as a federated society. During times of war, these tribal divisions became strategic. Tribes like Gad and Reuben, settled east of the Jordan, acted as buffers against external threats. Judah's warriors led southern campaigns, while northern tribes like Naphtali and Dan provided agility and mobility. Even Levi, without its own army, contributed through training, counsel, and spiritual oversight, reinforcing morale and cohesion. Each tribe developed distinct cultural traits shaped by geography, vocation, and patriarchal blessing. Issachar's descendants were known for their labor and wisdom. Zebulun thrived in trade and maritime enterprise. Asher cultivated abundant resources and agricultural prosperity. These traits became ingrained over generations, producing a mosaic of regional customs, crafts, and social practices. Marriage alliances among tribes reinforced unity while maintaining diversity. Trade, festivals, and shared religious observances allowed knowledge, culture, and faith to flow across tribal boundaries. The annual pilgrimage to central worship sites, particularly later to Jerusalem, created a rhythm of spiritual cohesion that transcended regional differences, allowing 12 tribes to function as one nation under God's covenant. The tribes also provide insight into leadership and governance. Tribal elders, judges, and military leaders ensured localized administration while maintaining national unity. Leadership emerged organically from patriarchal characteristics and divine guidance, allowing for flexibility, adaptability, and accountability. Ephraim's prominence, Judah's kingship, and Levi's spiritual authority illustrate complementary models of leadership: political, martial, and religious, all essential to the nation's survival and coherence. The balance of power among tribes prevented dominance by a single lineage, while allowing for central authority when necessary. This dynamic structure ensured that Israel could function as a federated nation, able to respond to both internal and external challenges. It also provides a model for understanding governance as a combination of distributed responsibility and centralized purpose. Ultimately, the 12-tribe system is about covenantal identity. From Jacob's blessings to Joshua's land allocations, from Levite's service to Joseph's double portion, each element reinforces Israel's relationship with God. Identity was transmitted through family, lineage, ritual, and memory, ensuring continuity even amid exile. The tribe's legacy teaches that true inheritance is not only material, but spiritual, that community thrives on balance between diversity and unity, and that leadership is most effective when combined with service and accountability. Even when the land was lost, the tribe survived in memory, tradition, and covenant, shaping Israel's moral, spiritual, and cultural framework for generations. The tribes of Israel, taken together, offer a model for understanding how communities endure across time, space, and circumstance. They demonstrate the integration of heritage, vocation, spiritual purpose, and societal responsibility. They exemplify the tension and balance between individuality and unity, inheritance and service, land and covenant. Through triumph, conquest, exile, and return, the 12 tribes of Israel and their 13 lineages maintained cohesion, identity, and purpose. They remind us that communities thrive not only through material resources, but through shared values, spiritual stewardship, and the careful integration of diverse gifts into a single enduring framework. The 13 lineages of Israel, descending from Jacob: Reuben, Simeon, Judah, Issachar, Zebulun, Benjamin, Dan, Naphtali, Gad, Asher, Levi, and Joseph's sons, Ephraim and Manasseh, formed a tapestry of family, faith, and destiny that would shape a nation for millennia. Though the land was divided into 12 territories, reflecting divine order and practical balance, the influence of each lineage extended far beyond geography, embedding itself into culture, governance, spiritual life, and collective memory. The tribes offered a framework of identity for the Israelites, both individually and collectively. Each tribe carried unique characteristics, blessings, and responsibilities, reflecting the nature of its patriarch and its role in the covenant. Judah represented leadership and courage. Levi, spiritual devotion and service. Ephraim, prominence and governance. Manasseh, breadth and strategic placement. And the other tribes each contributed distinct strengths: agriculture, commerce, defense, wisdom, or eloquence. This diversity allowed Israel to function as a cohesive nation while preserving the individuality of its members. It demonstrated that identity is multidimensional, rooted in family, shaped by vocation, and sustained by faith. One of the most profound lessons of the tribal system lies in the balance between material and spiritual inheritance. Most tribes received land, providing sustenance, security, and economic stability. Levi, however, received no land, instead serving as priests and teachers. This arrangement emphasized that spiritual stewardship is as critical as physical possession, and that service, law, and devotion can be a higher form of inheritance. Similarly, Joseph's double portion through Ephraim and Manasseh illustrates how providence can shape inheritance, ensuring that material blessings support both individual destiny and national balance. Together, these arrangements model a society where wealth, power, and privilege are tempered by responsibility, service, and adherence to covenantal principles. At the heart of the tribal system lies the covenant with God. The 12 tribes of Israel, guided by the covenant, reflect the integration of divine purpose with human agency. Land, leadership, service, and blessing were all embedded within this sacred relationship, creating a society in which obedience, justice, and faithfulness were inseparable from identity. Even in exile and diaspora, the tribes preserved their covenantal memory. Prophetic texts, genealogical records, and ritual practices ensured continuity, enabling the Israelites to maintain spiritual cohesion despite loss of land and political sovereignty. The covenant sustained them, affirming that inheritance is as much about moral and spiritual fidelity as it is about physical territory. The tribes left an enduring cultural and spiritual legacy. Each tribe's story informed Israel's poetry, law, governance, and religious practice. Tribal distinctions shaped economic activity, settlement patterns, and social hierarchy, while shared rituals, festivals, and worship created national unity. The memory of Joseph's triumph, Levi's service, Judah's leadership, and the blessings of all patriarchs provided moral guidance, cultural identity, and spiritual inspiration for generations. Moreover, the tribe's symbolic and theological significance continues to resonate. 12 tribes represent completeness and divine order. 13 lineages reflect balance and reconciliation. The interplay of land and service illustrates the integration of temporal and spiritual life. These symbols transcend history, offering lessons in leadership, stewardship, and communal cohesion that remain relevant today. Ultimately, the tribes of Israel are not merely historical or geographical concepts. They are living symbols of human experience under divine guidance. They illustrate the interplay of family, destiny, faith, and responsibility, showing how a nation can be shaped by both material inheritance and spiritual vocation. Reuben, Simeon, Judah, Issachar, Zebulun, Benjamin, Dan, Naphtali, Gad, Asher, Levi, Ephraim, and Manasseh, 13 lineages forming 12 land-holding tribes, created a pattern that endured through settlement, conquest, exile, and restoration. Their story teaches that identity is preserved through faith and covenant, leadership is tempered by service, and community thrives when diversity is integrated into a unified vision. Through their lands, roles, and enduring legacy, the tribes of Israel provide a timeless lesson. True inheritance is measured not merely by territory or power, but by the preservation of covenant, the cultivation of character, and the faithful stewardship of blessing. The narrative of the tribes remains a cornerstone for understanding Israel's history, culture, and spiritual vision, a testament to the wisdom of Jacob, the providence of God, and the enduring strength of a people bound together by family, faith, and destiny. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this journey into the past, be sure to like the video, share it with fellow history enthusiasts, and subscribe for more deep dives into the people, civilizations, battles, myths, and moments that shaped our world. Leave your thoughts and theories in the comments below. Your perspective might inspire a future video. Until next time, keep exploring history, because the past is never truly gone.